Hello, good evening and welcome. Just turning the volume up there. I'm Paul and I help people who've got a drink problem put the fun back into their lives without the alcohol, and I use hypnosis, happiness and hijinks. I hope you're well, hope you're having a good day or you've had a good day. My day has been most peculiar and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. This morning, first thing I went to the gym, had a good session, but there was like an eyelash or something stuck in my eye and it was distracting me a little bit, but did the session and blah blah blah. Got back, had a call with a really interesting person called Natalie, who is a property entrepreneur and a coach, and I might be doing some work with her clients, basically maybe doing some videos or something. Then I had a call with a guy who's trained to be a coach and he needed some people as a case study, so I put my hand up and did that. And then I got really irritated in the eye and spent some time literally digging around and took out 3/4 of a contact lens, and I'm thinking there might be a little bit stuck in there still, but I can't go poking around because I may as well bruise the eye a little bit anyway. So if it hasn't gone all by itself tomorrow morning, I have to make a trip to the opticians, which is going to be a pain in the neck. Then I got a new router, installed that, got my phone and my laptop fitted, which was fine, but now my blooming PC keeps dropping me off the internet, which is a real pain in the neck because I obviously do a lot of work on the internet and it's just been really challenging. So that's what I've been doing with that. And then on top of that, I'm trying to do a post every day, and the post, I finished it barely, 15 minutes ago, about 600 words. And ironically, it's only because I had the problems with the internet that I came across this post, because this morning I started looking and I found a quote that I thought, yeah, that resonates, I can use that. But in the end, I thought, no, I don't really fancy it, I don't think it will work. So what I did was, had the problems with the internet and kind of got it fixed, looked for some other quotes and found one that I thought, yeah, that will do. And so I wrote my article based around that. And ironically, it sort of quite fits the situation. And the article was, basically the quote is, often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. And that's by a guy called Fred Rogers, who was born in today in 1928 and died, I think it was in 2004. And he was a big TV personality in the United States, a very sort of homely kids entertainer kind of guy, really gentle and wise and a very pleasant kind of person. He was always trying to help people, putting a lot of his time into helping charities and kids and that kind of thing. A really well-loved member of the American society, I guess. And so I got to thinking, well, okay, yeah, stuff ends and stuff begins. And a lot of us, especially me in my younger days, something would end, like a relationship would end, or you'd get sacked, or you'd do a project and that finished, it didn't finish well. And you'd see all these things in a negative way. You know, have you ever been on a date, a Tinder date, for example, and your guest has spent the entire evening going on about their exes and how they're all bastards or bitches or this or that or the other? And rather than focusing on you and making themselves attractive to you and vice versa, so you can have a really pleasant and fun time, they just spend all this time being negative and, grumpy and angry. And I've seen this more than once myself, and people have told me that, yeah, all these guys, I go on dates with them, and after about half an hour they just get into the swing, and then they just start really having a go at their exes and getting really down and negative, and they kind of forget that I'm a woman as well. And I said, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's a really strange phenomenon. We see things ending very negatively, and it's almost like it's a personal affront. This thing has ended because of, and it's hurt me, it's my loss, my end of whatever. But things end. Think of the old, have you heard the old cliche about, if a tree falls in a forest, does anybody hear the noise, or does it make a noise? Yeah. Well, I turn that round in a way, and that, you know, 1,000-year-old tree might be 200-300 feet high, might have a girth of, you know, 20-30 feet, maybe even more, might be absolutely magnificent and splendid, yeah? But at some stage, that tree is going to die, and it's going to, you know, there's going to be a big wind blowing or something like that, and it's going to come crashing down, and it's dead, it's finished, it's done. But the death of that tree creates a humongous amount of new life. Well, for a start, it creates a huge hole in the canopy so that all those smaller trees, maybe even offshoots of the tree itself, can start growing up towards the light, and there'll be a brand new competition, a fight for that place in the sun. Also, you're going to get insects and small animals, bigger animals, congregating on this tree to sort of feed off it or to nest in it, to hiding it and all that kind of thing. And then on top of that, you're going to get, I don't know, fungus and mold and other things actually starting to grow on this tree, and other plants like creepers and such like will also start to develop and grow from this tree. So it becomes a food source for new life. Also, as the tree starts to degrade, it starts to return all the nutrients that it collected and stored over that, you know, 500, 1,000, 2,000 years or whatever, and starts to return those nutrients into the soil. You're sort of returning the goods back into the ground. So again, it's creating new life, and it's a circular thing, you know. So we might see the tree falling down, and if we're very sort of narrow-minded and negative looking, we think, oh my God, that's a beautiful tree and it's just died. Well, okay, yeah, if it's the last tree in a field, it can be quite a sad event. But in a, you know, going back 1,000 years when there was lots more forests, say here in the UK and around the world really, trees would fall down all the time, and they would create this new space, and it would be growth, and you would be able to go and, you know, harvest some stuff from that tree, because that was a cycle of life. You know, mighty acorns and all that kind of thing. It would grow massive, absorbing all these nutrients, all this water, taking up all this space in the canopy, and then it comes down and the cycle begins again and again and again until we come along, chop them all down, there's no trees left. But that's a different story. And it's the same with us. You know, things happen to us, and they are part of life. They are part of our cycle of life, if you think about it. You know, you might be in a relationship for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and then the relationship ends for whatever reason. But have you ever considered that it might just be that the relationship has ended because you've learned whatever lesson you needed to learn, or your partner in the relationship has learned the lesson, whatever they were supposed to learn, and now it is time for both of you to move on and to share that lesson, or maybe to start learning a new lesson. It's a very different approach. Rather than sort of being negative and angry and upset and mad and, you know, sort of holding all this anger and tension and stress in the body for 5 or 10 years, and then having loads of problems, having to go and see, you know, a psychiatrist and lay on the couch going, oh, well, you know, I blame it all on the end of the relationship, yeah. We can start looking at things in a different way. Yes, of course, there's going to be grief and sadness and all that kind of stuff. That's a normal part of, you know, when things finish. But you can get over those, yeah, and then you just need to move on. If you don't let go of them, you kind of unlearn the lesson. You kind of keep in baggage, or the chips on your shoulder get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, which is not a good thing. We've all got baggage, and the idea is to lighten the load rather than build the load. So you need to consider that when something finishes, there's a reason for it. You get fired from a job, you get sacked from a job. I mean, this happened to me, a long time ago. And I got sacked for no particular reason. And I was really pissed off. I thought, why have I been sacked? Why have I been, you know, singled out to be sacked? Because being very selfish as I was, I only thought it was happening to me. But at the time, this company had just taken over and had decided to sack, you know, sort of 3/4 of the management, and me being one of them. So we were all out of a job. And in the end, it kind of led me to a role where I spent 25 years in this particular new job. But if I'd have stayed where I was, I wouldn't even considered moving to this new position. So that was a kind of a reason why I'd done that job, got fired, so it left a space in my canopy for me to start looking for another role and to eventually settle on, find this job at Eurotunnel and spending 25 years there. So it is, excuse me. Oh. So, you know, things are cyclical, stuff happens for a reason. I'm not a really big believer in karma and destiny and all that kind of thing. I've got friends that have and are really invested in that idea. But I am starting to come around to some of the notions involved in, you know, things happen for a reason. In the blog that in the post that I wrote, I sort of write down this thing about, you know, we get really angry if we lose a £20 note. And we think, oh my God, I've lost a £20 note, the world is about to end. We tend to forget all the bits of money we've found or been given back in change accidentally over the years. That gets forgotten, yeah? We just focus on this £20 note or $20 note that we've just lost, and we get so angry and so frustrated and so fed up. And the thing is, what is really ironic is that we will spend more time and effort trying to stop losing that £20 than we will in trying to invest and actually making £1,000. We'll spend more effort trying to keep hold of a very, very small amount than we will to try and gain a much bigger amount. And that's not just me talking, this has been proven time and time again scientifically. It's ironic, it's very strange, but that's just how we are. Unless we start to consciously look at ourselves and our behaviour and how we act when things happen. Because the only two things we control in life is our beliefs, and even then I'd question whether we actually control them, because all these outside influences come in and give us our different beliefs, yeah? The only thing I think we can actually control in our lives is how we react to events. Because events come at us from random, different directions, expected and unexpected, and some just quite surprising, really, yeah? And that's the only thing we can control, how we react to them. You know, like I said, beliefs keep coming at us from different ways. They're bred into us as kids, and, you know, they grow and develop. We tend to keep this sort of bubble of our beliefs quite intact, and it's very difficult for us to expand them, because to expand your beliefs means having to kind of unbelieve things or be open-minded to somebody else's belief being a better or more appropriate belief, shall we say, than your own. So it's a kind of a weird situation. But the thing to bear in mind is that stuff happens for a reason, and to try and find, so rather than sort of focusing on the negative side of things, the doom and gloom, it's to try and find a reason why it happened. Take the time to figure out why it happened. What can you learn from it? What possible opportunities arise from this thing happening? You know, maybe you'll meet somebody new. Maybe you will travel more. Maybe you will, you know, open your mind to learning something different, and maybe go a different kind of job, a different career, a new career. Who knows, yeah? So all I want to say today is be mindful that when stuff happens, it's probably happening for a reason, and that there is a lesson in there somewhere. Try and dig it out, find out what it is, and use it, and then, you know, pass it on to the next person who's going to go through the same kind of thing. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. My name is Paul. I help people with a drink problem get over that problem and have fun without the alcohol, and I use hypnosis, happiness and hijinks. I do one of these every single night at 8 o'clock, 7 days a week. If you've got any comments or questions, please type them in below. If you want to have a chat with me personally, just drop me a PM. If you know somebody that might need to have a chat with me, get them to contact me either here or wherever you like. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.